This is Adam Gorney on the Rival Signing Day show here with new Nebraska coach Matt Rhule, and that feels good. It feels good to have you on the show. It feels good to have Nebraska represented here, and you've been around. You know how it goes. Have you ever been around a place though in the last few weeks with such passion? Some would say lunacy. The expectation there. How invigorating is it to see and be a part of this program now as the leader?
Well, it's an absolute honor. I think when you get here, you get into the state. You walk into this building, you walk by 5 national championship trophies, you walk by 3 Heismans, and you have an immediate sense of what's possible here. And you feel honored to represent the state. The people are passionate. The fan base loves the players, loves the team, and I think all the guys that chose to sign with us, I think they definitely feel that.
You've been a part of rebuilds. At Baylor, it was nearly an impossible rebuild, and you got it done quickly. Is there a science to that? Is it just really about culture and bringing in the right players? And how do you kind of move that forward here at Nebraska now?
Yeah, I think it's about getting the right people on board. I think it starts with the staff. And then in recruiting, it's about recruiting the right guys the right way. I think that's important. You can recruit the right guys, but bring them in with a bunch of promises and they get there and there's no trust. And so to me, it's about, doing it the right way. And then when they get here, developing them like crazy. We were able to do that at Baylor. I think the difference for me now is, we're not bound to just 25 guys or 19 guys. We can bring in a lot more guys, and I think that speeds things up for people.
Yeah, that's interesting. And let's talk portal. And Elijah Judy is now in. Is that something that your philosophy on it, is that going to be sort of crafted as you go, or is this sort of something that you can rebuild much quicker than bringing in guys and developing them only from the high school ranks?
Yeah, I think my approach has always been, I'm a developmental coach. I like to get guys in here, have them for 3, 4, 5 years. So that, I obviously look forward to recruiting high school kids and getting them here. But I think with the portal now, having the ability to bring in guys, after their redshirt freshman year, if they're the right guy, having them for 3 years. And I think my experience in the NFL, you sign a free agent, you have to get him ready to play quickly. And sometimes we signed a guy on Tuesday and I had to have him ready by Sunday. And so I think we're uniquely qualified now to have that long-term developmental approach, but also bring guys in that can help us. It speeds the game up. And for me, I want the freshmen to come in and compete, but I don't have to play a guy who's not ready because I have the ability to bring in some veteran players.
Speaking of you said talent on the roster, you got a big one this morning, Malachi Coleman. Colorado was very involved with him until the end. What were those conversations like with you and Malachi and the family to convince him, hey, let's stay in Lincoln and let's build this together?
It started off with really a hard conversation, when he decommitted, and speaks a lot to who he is and who his family is. And he called me. That's not always the case. And I was great with it. As I told him, I only wanted him to come here if this was the right place for him. And, we talked a lot about our vision for him. We talked a lot about what we were going to try to do. But I think the biggest thing was he just wanted to get around us and spend some time with us. It's hard to commit the next 4 years of your life to someone you don't really know. And I think in a short amount of time, we've been able to let them feel our vibe here, the people that we have here. And in the end, Malachi trusted us, and it's a big day for us to keep him here in Lincoln.
Some coaches subscribe to the idea that you put your best athletes on defense. He could play receiver, tight end, defensive end, linebacker. Where do you kind of see him playing? Do you just bring him in and figure it out, or do you kind of have an idea?
Well, I think he's a wideout. My approach has always been, Adam, and we've had a lot of success from, Hassan Reddick to Deion Dawkins, a lot of guys at Temple and at Baylor of moving guys around and putting them in the right position. And my philosophy has always been to let these guys start off at the position they're most comfortable. Let them play that. Let them have success. And then as we go, I think we have a pretty good eye here. Our staff, Evan Cooper, myself, looking at guys and saying, hey, your best chance to make a lot of money in the NFL is to move to this. But when I see Malachi, he's got 10-3 speed, he's got length. We're gonna teach him to be a great wideout. And then a lot of people say they're gonna let kids play both ways in the recruiting process. You go back and look at us, we've done it. And those aren't promises, but what it is I think he's a dynamic athlete. And if he can help us in other areas, we certainly will.
There have been different philosophies at Nebraska over the years, depending on the coaching staff, some successful, some not successful, about recruiting territory. And we all know that Nebraska is going to have some guys, but not enough to make a whole class, not enough probably to win Big Ten championships. But how do you see this? Is this getting into Texas more? Is this going west, east, southeast, Midwest? How do you kind of see this playing out over the years?
Well, I think it's truly being great in the state, like you said. I think we signed the most Nebraska players this year since 1998, and there's a couple that we would have loved. We just got here too late to get involved, and so I think there's the fundamental core is here. Those are the guys that'll want to stay and be here no matter what because they love the university. And I think from there, we really want to be great in Texas. It's one of the reasons why I took the job. Looking back at the history, knowing Nebraska's ties there, it's for kids that want to play in the Big Ten. I think the Big Ten is really moving in a strong direction, and Nebraska were the closest one. And then they have a great history in New Jersey and in the East Coast. They have a great history in Florida. So we will try to concentrate in those three areas. The Northeast, Florida, Texas. But we also understand we're a national brand, and we'll go find kids anywhere that they are. Especially there's a lot of what I'm learning is there's a lot of people with Nebraska ties that have moved somewhere else, and we're going to go get those guys as well.
Speaking of Texas, I think you had a great recruiting move to eat at Prince Will's mom's restaurant. I think that was definitely a nice touch there. Calculated, or were you hungry at that time?
No, that's my second time. So when I went in to see Princely, and Princely was coming on a visit to Baylor, and then I left. I went there and I had the fufu, I had the uguzi soup, and I've had that in many homes. It's become a favorite of mine. So when I went back in there, I don't think they even realized it was me at first, but I said, no, I sat at that table. And then when Mom said, you went with Coach Rhule, I said, no, I am Coach Rhule. And she said, oh my goodness. I think maybe I put on too many pounds since the last time I was there. So, but no, it's a great restaurant, and it's got great food, and they're an unbelievable family. And I've really enjoyed getting to know them because, for me now, this has been 4 years of knowing them.
Yeah. Putting on the pounds, you and me both, Matt. That is new Nebraska coach Matt Rhule. Thanks for joining us today, man.
Thank you so much. Go Big Red.